Hey, I'm Hershey Suffren, the creative director and founder of Suffren.tv. When I came to Marko the first time, I was in a position of starting to have more work than I can handle. I didn't really know what to do with myself. And I was looking at growing into a studio. And the big question mark was, how do you do that? How do you build a studio that's sustainable? What are the best practices? And well, what is that going to look like for me? So the first question I had was, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, how do people do this? And the first thing that Marko said was, nobody knows what they're doing. There is no one way to do it.
Yes,
And
I did. Yeah.
it's really about figuring out what's going to work for you. And so having somebody to bounce off of and to talk over problems with, and just to be available to work through those issues and set those goals, that in and of itself would have been worth it. But on top of that, having the masterclass and the check-ins, that's been incredible.
So I remember like when we started, you had like a few shops coming up, but wasn't there an issue that your prices were a little lower than they are now?
Yes, definitely.
Tell me about that.
So, well, during our first audit, at the time, I was trying to get rid of a bad client. What came out of that audit was the reason why I had that bad client in the first place is because my prices were too low. So that was the first diagnosis.
How did you deal with the client? Do you still have him? Did you raise the prices? What did you do?
No, I raised the prices and haven't heard from them since. And it's for the best.
Another question. Why would you recommend people working with me?
You have the actual hard experience of having run a creative agency worth millions of dollars, working with large clients. You've been to the places that most of us want to get, and you have a real clear understanding of how you got there and what the pitfalls are, and your own stories of failure and learnings that come out in the masterclasses and everything else. And that's the major benefit. And besides that, I mean, your approach is the masterclass, you're the master, but you're also extremely kind and patient, everything that you want out of a solid teacher.
Awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that. If you want to add anything else?
No, so
Go for it.
I've spoken to a couple of my fellow creatives about working with a business coach, or working with you specifically, and building a creative business with a coach. And they always ask, is it worth it? Is it worth the money that you spent on it? And I made my money back within, I think it was like 2 weeks after starting. There was a project that I wasn't sure what to quote for it. I was gonna ask for 10, and you said, what would happen if you asked for 20? I said, I don't know. So we tried it. They said yes. So the profit that I made on that project immediately paid for you. Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. But that's kind of the thing, right? Sometimes it's just as simple as needing someone to talk to, and maybe someone that pushes you to think a little bigger.
Yeah, think and you gave me the permission to think bigger.
Thank you so much.